sketch the graph of this function. Let me write this function out a little better for you. So it's f of x equals 3 if x is less than or equal to -1. It's negative 2x plus 1 if like that. Oh, this should be less than. And it's, in fact, let me make it different colors, make it more easy for you guys to read. So I'll do this part. So negative 2x plus 1 if like that. I'll move this over to if. Okay, and then the third one, it's -1 if x is greater than 2. There we go. Okay. All right, so this is what we call a piecewise function. It's in 3 different pieces. And those pieces, remember, those are heights. Remember that? This is f of x is y is height. So it's saying f of x equals y equals the height is 3 when x is less than or equal to -1. Let's go do that on the graph. They want us to graph this. X is less than or equal to -1. So that means, remember, here's the x-axis, here's the y-axis. So when x is less than or equal to 1, y is at a height of 3. That means we have that. You see, the y height is 3. The y height is 3. F of x equals 3. Y equals 3. Height is 3. For x values, oh, whoops, I didn't go far enough, did I? Try that again, all the way to there. Right, because that hits at -1 or below. So y is at a height of 3. You know what, let me make that correspond with the colors for ease of your understanding. So I'll make that top part blue. There we go. Let me jump to the green part. -1 when x is greater than 2. So that's going to be 2 or greater, like that. That part goes there. You see that? And this part goes here. Why? Why is that? The height is -1. See, the height is -1. When x is greater than 2. So 2 or greater. Open dot at that 2 because it's not equal to the 2. It's only greater than the 2. Now, finally, for the yellow part in between, the orange part in between, how are we going to get that? That's -2x plus 1. So I'm going to make a little table for that. Y equals -2x plus 1. And I'm going to plug in, it says to do that between -1 and 2. So I'm going to plug in -1, 0, 1. I'm running out of room in a big hurry. Let me try that again. Put it right here. I'm going to go x and y equals -2x plus 1, right? Because y equals -2x plus 1. And I'm supposed to plug in x values between -1 and +2. So it'd be -1, 0, 1, and 2. That's the x values it told me to put in. All right, let's plug them in. Plug in -1. What are you going to get here? -2 times -1 plus 1, which equals 3. 2 plus 1, 3. So that's the point, -1, 3. But I'm going to circle these guys. Why? Because it's not equal to -1. It's only greater than -1. X is greater. X is on the wide side of -1. It doesn't equal -1. So I got to make sure I have an open dot there. So let me go to the graph and put an open dot there at -1, 3, -1, 3, which is actually right there. That's the point, -1, 3, back 1 up 3. Let me do the next one. So -2 times 0 plus 1. I'm just plugging in for x, these values every time. And what's that equal? Just 1. So that means that's the point 0, 1. This was the point, negative 1, 3. So 0, 1 over 0 up 1 right here. 0, 1, right? X value 0, Y value 1. X, Y, X, Y. You plug in X, you get Y. You go to the graph, you put the dot there. Now let's plug in a 1. Negative 2 times 1 plus 1. That's negative 2 plus 1. That's negative 1. That's 1, negative 1, right? X, Y. X, Y. Over 1, down 1. And finally, plug in 2. Negative 2 times 2 plus 1 would be negative 3. So that's 2, negative 3, X, Y, over 2, down 3, right there, over 2, down 3. This other one, I never put the coordinates there. What was it? 1, negative 1. 1 down 1. And then you connect these guys because they all connect, right? It was a line connecting all those. Why? Because it wasn't just negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. It was all the X values between negative 1 and 2. So really, there's a million dots between these guys that I didn't bother to find. And really, you only needed to find this dot and that dot. Now, what happens here? Well, it's an open dot and a solid dot, so they together fill each other in, and it's just a normal dot. So you don't have to do anything weird here. Just make a normal solid dot, because the open dot that was there gets filled in by the solid dot, so it ends up being a normal dot. So the only open dot on the screen is that one. That's the only open dot. All the rest are solid dots. That's the answer for that one. Now let me show you. A lot of people have trouble with this one on the screen. Let me actually do it for you on my screen. Let's see. Okay, you can see my screen, and now I've got a different problem. You know, it randomizes it. So I got this one. So I'm just going to have to tell you the answers and show you put it in. So negative 1, height of negative 1 less than at X values less than or equal to negative 1, right? Everybody seeing this up here? Height of negative 1, f of X is Y is negative 1 height if X is less than or equal to negative 1. So I'm going to need to take, see the things we have down here? We have this, which is 2 points with the line going both sides beyond it. This is 2 points with the line ending at those 2 points. This is 2 points where the line goes beyond them. That's what I need. I need to start at negative 1. I'm going to get a height thing here, and then just go anywhere I want, showing that that line just keeps going. See, that's a height of negative 1 for X values negative 1 or beyond. Okay, and now I'm going to do the last part, which is X greater than 1, height to 1. Well, actually, I'm going to do the in-between. Let me do that first. Plug in negative 1 here. I'm going to have to do it all in my head. Sorry. Negative 1 would be what? Negative 2 plus 1 would be negative 2 plus 1, negative 1. Negative 1, negative 1. Oh, yeah, it's the same dot. Okay. And put in 0, over 0, up 1. Over 0, up 1's right there. And over 1, up 3 right there. Goes all the way to there. Right. So, okay. So I'm going to need this kind of line there. How did I find that? That was a double-sided solid dot on both ends. I knew that because I was doing this middle part. I did it in my head. Sorry, I can't show that to you on this screen, but you saw me do the other one. You know how I do it. I made a table in my head, basically, and I plugged in negative 1, 0, 1, and 1, 3. And it's solid. But now the left one's not solid, but the other one already was. So this solid dot filled in the whole hollow dot. Finally, last part, height of 1. Come on, just the last part right there. Height of 1 if X is greater than 1. So that's going to be this again. Height of 1 if X is greater than 1. There we go. Height of 1. But I got to put an open dot right there. See that open dot? And this has got to be a solid. Well, I'll skip the solid dot. Let me submit that and see if it takes it. Oh, it's not happy. Be sure to indicate closed or open dots, but only at breaks in the graph. Okay, so it wants me to put a solid dot right there. See if it takes that. Now it's happy. Yep, full credit. So do you see that? It wants you, it says be sure to, I read this down here. Be sure to include closed or open dots, but only at breaks in the graph. So right here where they broke, I had to be super clear. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that, but now that's all messed up. I don't know how to get rid of that. But I had to make this a solid dot up here and an open dot right there because that's what it said on the description. So there we go. Let me go back to my iPad. So there it is. So there's what you have to do on this graph. So really the only solid dot you need to show on this graph is this solid dot and this open dot, because that's where the graph breaks. That's where they want you to put a solid dot and here open dot. Nowhere else. You don't have to put it anywhere else because the other places it's all connected. It doesn't matter. They just want solid and open in those two places.